If you love New York like we love New York, you don't want to miss this. We are honoring American heroes.
For me, it has been a gift.
Joining them in a race of a lifetime.
Pierre de Loop was up there today.
We take flight to the golden age of aviation. Plus, the museum every American should know about.
I gotta tell you, I came here a couple weeks ago with my kids and my husband, and all four of us went totally crazy. This place is amazing, and I feel like not enough people know about it.
While eating our way through the tri-state. But what is a pie shake, and who put bacon jam on the mac and cheese pot pie?
You're an evil woman.
I'm sorry.
I love you. I love you for it.
Mommy, when New York starts right now.
Tony on New York starts right now. We start our show 50 miles north of New York City at the oldest continuously operating Army post in the United States. United States Military Academy at West Point's role in our nation's history dates back to the Revolutionary War, when both sides realized the importance of the commanding plateau on the west bank of the Hudson River. General George Washington considered West Point to be the most important strategic position in America. Continental soldiers built forts and batteries, extended a 150-ton iron chain across the Hudson to control river traffic. Fortress West Point was never captured by the British, despite Benedict Arnold's treason. Now, the Academy traces its roots to 1801, when President Thomas Jefferson decided, shortly after his inauguration, that plans be set in motion to establish the Academy at West Point. And it's at the museum at West Point where you can learn all about our nation's fight for freedom.
All right, I gotta tell you, I came here a couple weeks ago with my kids and my husband, and all four of us went totally crazy. This place is amazing, and I feel like not enough people know about it.
Yeah, we are the Hudson Valley's best kept secret, probably.
Hidden treasure.
Yeah.
Hidden
Yeah.
treasure.
Yeah.
So tell me, what are people gonna experience when they come to this Hudson Valley hidden treasure?
So everything original related to American history, from the American Revolution all the way to today.
Right.
So if you want to experience what people used, what people handled, what soldiers used, where they were, then this is the place to do it, because this is the heart of the American Revolution right here.
I know, it's amazing.
And so a lot of our collection was originally built with Revolutionary War pieces that were forced to be left here by the British in 1777, and they have remained here ever since. And so our collection has been built off of that for the last 250 years.
In the small weapons gallery, you can take in the history of handheld weaponry tracing back from the Stone Age club to modern automatic firearms. On the lowest level of the West Point Museum are several oversized displays ranging from artillery pieces to a First World War tank, an atomic bomb casing of the type dropped at Nagasaki, and a cannon collection with weapons dating back as far back as this one from the 17th century used in the Chinese Boxer Rebellion, along with the cannon that fired the first American shot of World War I.
There's the story of the Wizard of Oz and how it came to be. But primarily the monkeys, when you see them in the Wizard of Oz, are wearing these gray coats. They were actually fashioned after the cadet coats here at West Point.
Oh, wow.
And then when you look across the river from West Point, you see a big castle on the top of the hill. And that's supposedly the influence for the Wicked Witch of the West castle in The Wizard of Oz.
So American history plays part in one of the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah.
The museum is divided into 6 different exhibits, but for first-time visitors, Marlena Cook, curator of art for the museum, suggests you start at the West Point Gallery, where you can check out artifacts from the Revolutionary War, such as George Washington's pistols, along with an almost one-of-a-kind war trophy.
So these are called our Alpha and Omega flags. These are the first and last captured flags from the Revolutionary War. They're extremely rare. There's only one other set that we know of in existence, and it's in a private collection. These were actually given to George Washington after his service as a gift for his service to his country. And then they passed through George Washington's family and ultimately came to the West Point Museum as part of our war trophies collection.
The only other set known in existence was sold at auction for $20 million. Now, when it comes to our first president, we know that he could not tell a lie, and when we think of celebrating our nation's birth, what better way than with a cherry pie? And lucky for us, that can be found at the Pied Piper in Highland Falls. Suzanne Quaylen did not start out as a baker per se, but she just loved pie. So the self-taught pie maker started selling these baked goods at farmers markets around the Hudson Valley. And when she found herself making 130 Thanksgiving orders for pies out of her own kitchen, she knew it was time to set up shop.
We've got your standard traditional pies. We have apple pie, we do peach, cherry, your traditional ones that you're familiar with. And then we do have our own signature flavors like Snickers, chocolate peanut butter. Yes, it's a chocolate pie that's been baked, and then it's got a fluffy peanut butter layer, homemade caramel and peanuts on top. And then we also do our twist on an Almond Joy candy bar, which is a coconut pie with sliced almonds and milk chocolate in the bottom. We do everything from like a Samoa, which is a caramel chest base with toasted coconut and chocolate on top. And then of course we have a little cult following for our pecan pie. It's not your traditional pecan pie.
Pecan.
Yeah, it's pecan, or as you New Yorkers say, pecan. But where I'm from Seattle, we always call it pecan. And ours doesn't have any corn syrup, which is traditionally made with.
Nice.
Yeah, so it just has a lot of other bad things like butter and brown sugar.
Butter and brown sugar are good things.
Yes.
Now I hear you also do something called a pie shake?
Yes.
What is a pie shake?
A pie shake is where you can come in and pick a pie flavor that we have available for the day, and you can blend it with ice cream. And so anytime you come into the shop, you can get a different pie flavor or pie shake flavor every time you come in.
All right, can I get a Snickers pie shake?
Sure.
The Snickers pie! It's the little one.
Yes.
So you make little pies and big pies?
Yes.
How much of that pie goes into my pie shake?
About half.
Woohoo! People, it's a good thing I worked out this morning. There's a lot of scoops of ice cream in that. I love pie. I love pie almost as much as I love pasta. Oh my God!
Hang on a second.
Suzanne's trying to kill me. You gotta work that, don't you, girl?
You don't want a lumpy shake.
No, I don't want a lumpy shake. It's another rule of 2016. No lumpy shake.
No
I'm
lumpy
not
shakes.
de-shelling my own lobsters, and no lumpy shakes, Glennie. Don't forget it. Don't forget it.
I won't forget that one.
Don't forget it.
Apparently we're drinking a lot of shakes this year. That's cool.
That's right, baby. We gotta fatten up for winter, right? Here we go. Snickers shake and the Pied Piper Pie Company with lovely Suzanne, the pie lady. Don't make her angry. In 3, 2, 1.
We'll go running later.
Woo! Yeah, we will.
Little did I know Suzanne also makes killer savory pies like this, the mac and cheese pot pie with bacon jam.
And Suzanne claims the bacon jam will change my life.
It will.
She says it with some confidence. I love it. Now I gotta get a little bit more bacon jam. All right, mac and cheese pot pie with the bacon jam. Pied Piper's pies. In 3, 2, 1. You're an evil woman.
I'm sorry.
I love you. I love you for it.
And just when I thought I had all the pie I could try, Suzanne pulls out her secret savory weapon because I cannot say no to tacos.
So this is our taco pot pie,
Taco
which we
pot pie?
offer every Taco Tuesday, but sometimes we have Taco Wednesday. And we top it with some shredded lettuce and a little bit of homemade pico de gallo. And we add a nice big dollop of sour cream on top. So that is your taco pot pie.
Give me a big knife.
Yep.
I'm gonna cut right into it.
Yep.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Okay, I wasn't gonna try this one either. Look inside, Glennie. You want to get on inside.
So it's got the taco meat.
Oh,
taco
yeah.
meat and
Glennie
some
wants
cheese.
inside the pie. Just saying, she's like that. If you know what I'm saying. Diving for the pie. I didn't say it. Pie diving. I'm pie diving. I want a faceplate on the pie. All right, taco pie. It's not Tuesday. Is it
No.
Tuesday?
Well, it's Taco Tuesday on Wednesday.
It's just because that's how you do it.
Coming up, take flight to the golden age of aviation, where you can ride in a vintage biplane. And we visit the home of a founding father. The Tony On team laces up to run alongside American heroes. If you haven't heard of Achilles International, this is one organization you need to know about. It was a beautiful morning in Central Park. Over 5,600 participants were getting ready, Team Tony On included. Every year, a bevy of my buddies join up to run the most inspirational race. It's all to benefit Achilles International, a global nonprofit that not only helps to enable people with all types of disabilities to participate in athletics, but is a constant presence at Walter Reed, motivating wounded vets to get on the racetrack, helping them to train, and helping them to get back in the mindset of setting and achieving goals. And it all started when this man, Dick Traum, lost his own leg. He became the first individual to complete the New York City Marathon with a prosthetic. He took his passion for running to Walter Reed, and Achilles International was born.
We're giving people an opportunity to feel good about themselves, and it pays great dividends.
Take wounded vet Freddie De Los Santos, who lost his right leg in Afghanistan, where a rocket-propelled grenade tore through his Humvee. He had no idea what life had in store for him after that. He felt hopeless. It was so bad he even tried to commit suicide. Then he met Dick, and he joined the Achilles Freedom Team.
For me, it has been a gift. When I first got wounded, Achilles went to Walter Reed Hospital, and they were the first one that inspired me to get out of the bed and be active. And it has been an honor to represent Achilles in racing in an event like this, where if you can see everybody's kind of like motivated to go out and enjoy life.
Chevrolet has been a key sponsor to the Achilles Freedom Team of wounded vets since 2010, providing funds in order to help Achilles bring wounded veterans to participate in marathons. Today, the 4 miles flew by, and everyone was feeling the love.
We will see you back here next year.
I will see you next year, but I may actually see you at the New York City Marathon.
You could do it. I don't think I could do it.
Well, you know, it's not like you're on your last leg.
I love this guy. I love this guy.
And Freddie, who's been completing marathons and races for 5 years now, had a special message for Dick.
I can't thank you enough for everything that you do for us and for all the vets. And I really mean it. Thank you.
And you know what? Thank you for your service.
Coming up, Amelia Earhart, watch out, we are taken to the skies. Plus, a visit to the home of Alexander Hamilton's fellow founding father, John Jay. The fall is the perfect time for a road trip that your family will never forget. Housed in Red Hook, New York in Dutchess County is where you will find the old Rhinebeck Aerodrome, home to one of the largest collections of vintage aircrafts from the Pioneer Era, World War I, and the golden age of aviation. And if you visit on a weekend through the end of October, the aerodrome turns back the hands of time and relives the early years of aviation. It's brought back to life amidst the roar of rotary engines chronicling the history of flight. It's awesomely entertaining for kids of all ages, and we have pilot Cole Palin to thank for this tri-state treasure. He bought 6 planes from Roosevelt Field back in 1958, purchased this land to showcase the planes, and his love of aviation.
Yes,
Getting it done!
Pierre de Loop was up there today.
The pilots dress in vintage garb, playing out campy storylines, and it becomes theater in the sky. All the players are volunteers, like Christopher Bolko, who loves keeping the history of aviation alive.
I play Pierre de Loop. I am the greatest French fighter pilot, and I fly a reproduction 1916 SPAD 7. It is built exactly like the original, although we do cheat and we use a slightly more modern engine, and we do have a tailwheel, which allows us to take it to away games. So for example, I'm actually flying this airplane at the end of the month to Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Oh, cool.
For the Experimental Aircraft Association fly-in there.
Nice.
So that'll be quite the adventure.
I bet. And
Other-
you run the show here.
I am the air show director.
All right, so tell us about the show.
Well, it is.
What are people going to see when they come out here?
They are going to see romance and action and adventure and airplanes and sweaty people and lots of bombs and all kinds of fun stuff. But nobody gets hurt, and we're not glorifying war. We're just showing off our really cool airplanes.
The show is so
you can
fun.
see we have no fun here.
So
no
fun.
fun
so
of any
fun.
kind.
And there's cotton candy, so what, you know.
Where? I didn't see that. Oh.
And almost 6 decades later, the aerodrome is home to 60 vintage aircrafts. But don't ask museum director Mike DiGiacomo to pick a favorite.
Like picking your favorite child. It's hard to say.
You can't do that?
No, I get in trouble. You know, they're all special. They're all different in different ways, and they all have their special things about them. And
Okay,
they're
the
they're
most unique.
The
Which
most
are the
unique.
three most
Well, we have the
unique?
oldest flying aircraft in the country. It's a 1909 Blériot. And it still flies every weekend on Saturdays, just down the runway, no higher than you want to fall, we say. Our Fokker triplane's pretty cool too. It's like the 4th one we've had, and it's just like an original Fokker triplane, a little bit different motor, but a really neat plane, flies in the dogfight every Sunday. We also have a reproduction. We just finished the 1927 Charles Lindbergh's plane, the Spirit of St. Louis.
Yes.
An exact replica, so that's really, really cool.
Now, if you don't know who Charles Lindbergh was, he was the first pilot to cross the Atlantic. He took off from Roosevelt Field and 31 and a half hours later landed in Paris, a true pioneer of aviation.
There's no forward visibility. If you lean your head a little bit from side to side, you can actually see about where the propeller arc is.
And if you're looking for today's pioneer at the aerodrome, it's this guy, Kenwood Casons, who built the replica of that history-making plane that Cole Palin himself had started to piece together before he passed in 1993.
He had the engine and the propeller and a few instruments and things like that. And he actually started a fuselage, which is steel tubing, and it's welded together. And he had it tack welded together, and when he came up for the summer air show season, some friend of his decided he would weld it up for him, and he ruined it. All the welds were undercut and burned and everything. So after Cole passed away, we brought all that stuff up from Florida. And we knew that Cole always wanted to have a Spirit of St. Louis replica. So we thought maybe we could repair the damaged fuselage, but we decided it would be too much work. So we just started over again. So we built the airplane here right from scratch.
With the help of some friends at the Smithsonian, Ken was able to get up close to the original and get the exact dimensions of that aircraft.
Everybody here talks about this guy. He's like a demigod of the place. Yeah, no, Jim, our friend Jim, was saying he's just so impressed by your work, and seeing this, it is quite impressive.
Well, thank you very much.
So thank you for building it, so we can all see it.
My pleasure.
And if you're feeling really adventurous, a real treat at the aerodrome is you can actually get up in a vintage biplane. Totally awesome! Now, if your little ones aren't up for the flight, they can always get a ride in one of the aerodrome's vintage buggies. Coming up, a visit to the home of a founding father. By now, you all know about Hamilton, but what about John Jay? Another wonderful and educational road trip for the family can be found nestled in the rolling Westchester countryside. It's where you will find the gracious home and farm of John Jay, one of America's principal founding fathers. Jay co-authored the Treaty of Paris, which ended the Revolutionary War, and the Federalist Papers, which aided ratification of the U.S. Constitution. Not as widely known as Washington or Hamilton, here you can learn about the man who held the most political positions in New York's early history.
John Jay Homestead is really one of these fabulous hidden gems here in our own community. I mean, it is the home of New York's only native founding father. He lived here for a third of his life, and you can learn a lot about the past as well as have lots of really fun things to do outside. We're not just a historic site, we're also a park. Right. And so you can come for the day, go to some of our great discovery centers in our Red Barn or in our schoolhouse, come and take a tour, picnic with your family, all great fun and also educational things that you can do.
Which we love. Now tell me about the man.
Well, you know, John Jay is really an interesting guy. We sort of refer to him as the forgotten founder. He sort of falls through the cracks in terms of prominence, but he actually held more political positions than any other founding father. He was president of the Continental Congress, Secretary for Foreign Affairs. He worked on the Federalist Papers with Alexander Hamilton and James Madison. He was our first Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, and he was a 2-term governor of New York, plus a plethora of other things.
Very busy man.
He was, yeah, and he did all of that in about a 27-year time span or so.
Wow. Now, he came from a pretty prominent family.
Yeah, he was born into a family of wealthy New York merchants. He actually was one of 10 kids, so his father had to be doing pretty good for himself to be able to support a family of 10 kids. He went to King's College, which today is Columbia, became a lawyer, followed that same path that a lot of the revolutionaries followed, but got involved at a relatively young age in the cause to separate from Great Britain.
His grandfather, Augustus Jay, the French Huguenot here pictured in the formal dining room, was the first Jay in America. He left France in the mid-17th century to escape religious persecution and married into New York society. He wed Anna Maria Bayard, the grandniece of Peter Stuyvesant. And at the house, they also offer a series of lectures, and the day we stopped by, the focus was on Alexander Hamilton.
Hamilton's kind of a big deal these days.
Kind of a big ticket item these days, yeah. And he and Jay were actually friends. They were political colleagues, they were friends, they had an interpersonal relationship. So, you know, we're happy to also be able to, you know, highlight those things sometimes as well.
For all the info on today's show, just find us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. And while you're there, let us know where you want us to take the show. We take your tips and safety very seriously, so always remember to buckle up and assign a designated driver as you traverse the tri-state. And we'll see you next time on Tony On.